So follow up to a previous video on the HP Visualize workstation that had the special kind of video connector, the EVC connector, which I hadn't got a cable for. Well, I've got one. It arrived shortly after I made the other video, in fact. So weren't many places selling them. One place I contacted in Germany that had one on the website said they're out of stock. Somebody in the US wanted $40 plus shipping. There was on eBay some which had the plug, which then separated into two VGA connectors. I considered that. That was a Dell part for some kind of Dell supplied video card. Anyway, in the end I got this Lindy from the UK. Got no connection with them, but in case you're interested, they did sell this to me quite quickly. It doesn't actually have the price on this, I'm seeing, but it was something like 15 quid, so not exorbitant. So I have just tried it, and well, first off, this didn't work. I mean, it didn't physically fit. On further investigation, I found out from Wikipedia one of those things that I just hadn't noticed for different kinds of connectors that I've been using for a long time. So if you look very closely at this and other similar connectors, I would normally have called these kind of D connectors in general. I mean, that's DVI, but these ones, D sub for serial, and this one for VGA. But actually, this one, if you look very carefully, it is a D in the sense that the bottom here is more curved and it's kind of more at right angles at the top. Okay, whereas what I would have called a D VGA connector, like this, you can see it's a subtly different shape. So it's a trapezoid kind of shape on the edge. And apparently these EVC things that are also called P and D M1DA, those have two variants, and well, this plug and the socket on the back of the HP card were different, so they didn't actually fit, although the pins themselves are in exactly the same position, the same distances apart and so on. So what you can do, I found, is gently kind of bend the outside of this metal plug so it just about fits. So that's what I did, and with a bit of jiggling and pushing and pulling, you can actually get it to mate okay. So after some shocking disappointment, that does actually fit in. So I'm expecting that this will be unused, and I'm expecting that this DVI will provide some analog video, and I can use one of the many of these kind of adapters that I've got lying around from graphics cards, PC graphics cards in the past, where they provided both digital and analog output on that connector, and this allowed you to break out the old-fashioned VGA analog type of signals. So we're going to give that a go and see what happens. And this is what we get. Very definitely green. I mean, it's good that we've got some video, but yeah, it looks to me like only one of the RGB signals is getting through to the right place. I guess fortunate that it would be green, because green typically has sync on it, but hardly the vibrant full colour display that I was after. Interestingly, the monitor actually does sync I was also expecting to have to fiddle with the refresh rates, but that's also a good thing. But yeah, I'm going to have to study the pinouts on Wikipedia and see if I can track down the proper connections, and I guess I'm going to have to make up some kind of adapter, or yeah, we'll do something along those lines anyway. So let's see what I can work out. So I traced the connections through the adapter and the VGA adapter and through the cable. Thanks to Wikipedia, I was able to see where the red, green and blue should come out. It does look like I was wrong, thinking that the sync was on green, as in some earlier video standards. The VGA adapter has separate horizontal and vertical syncs, and the DVI-A also has these marked as well. So I did try again today, and I wasn't even getting the green. The monitor did wake up or show that there was some signal, but nothing was displayed. Although I found that when I moved the connector on the back of the graphics card, moving it in one direction cut it off. Even the monitor went back into sleep mode as if it had lost every signal, and then moving it back brought back the signal as if it was displaying a completely black picture, but must have sync at least to recognise there was something there, and I was able to do that reliably. So it looked to me as if there was some bad connection, either well, presumably either in the connector there to the card or on the board. So what I've done, I've taken apart the graphics card into its three components. It does mean that we can see some more of the innards, and this bottom card we can see now is labelled as the geometry accelerator, so that doesn't have anything on the back side. But this middle card here has a bunch of what could be RAM, I'm guessing, on there. I haven't looked at the chips, but yeah, a lot of hardware to connect all these bits together with standoffs and these custom plugs and socket arrangements here. So anyway, that's where the connector comes in, and you can see here what look like three drives, presumably the red, green and blue here to this part of the connector, and then maybe some sync over there, I don't know, and on the other side similarly some triplet there going to that sort of cross pattern on the connector. So I've tried to clean that area. There was what looked like some lacquer or something. The joints, there's not a lot of solder for each pin, but it doesn't look obviously bad. But I'm going to reflow those, well, those at least, just on the off chance that it's a dry joint or some bad connection there because of the weight of that big connector, and you know, maybe you'll get lucky and maybe that's all it is. I mean, I did try with the connector on, and the whole board, you know, this section here, the PCB does flex a bit. So it's possible that there could be some through-hole connections somewhere, or something that's almost invisible that's also broken. Who knows? But anyway, I'm going to try the easiest thing first and see if we get lucky. Well, I resoldered all the connections on the socket, and as you can see, it's still a blank screen. It's in the startup mode now, so we should display something. However, if I reach behind and pull up on the connector, I get a display. and I let go and it goes away. So there's something still loose, and interestingly that display is cyan, that text. It's not pure green. If I move it up a little bit I get green, move it a bit more and it becomes cyan. So there's still some problems there. Yeah, further investigation required, I fear. So I'm just looking at the pinouts on the socket, and that one looks like there's lots of data there. I'm just going to move to the adjacent pin, and again there's seems to be data there. So just by plugging in a wire. So let's do the other one there. So all of the red, green and blue pins seem to have data, so I can only conclude that the actual plug these pins are not mating properly. They are set back somewhat. Maybe there's some other variant that they're not supposed to be so far back. Tiresome. So you probably can't see very well on the camera. These four, well there's only three of them that are actually used for the RGB, but I've just put blobs of solder and tried to extend them and made them a little bit wider, and it's all a bit hit and miss, but I think I've got enough extra extension there. I'm just about getting all of the three signals to make white. Yeah, it's right on the border, and you have to get it right in the right angle and then screwed in, hopefully, to make it stable. So let me just show that. Okay, there we've just about got white. If you move the connector just a little bit, it tends to go back to cyan, but yeah, I'm not sure what else I can do, but anyway, that's usable as long as you don't move it too much, and I think that's the best I'm going to get.